Smart TV. Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Jineea Butler, for the New American Perspective, and I got my dapper cousin, co-host, A.B. Butler, in the house for the G-Check today. What's up, cousin?
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing?
Got a little light cold, but I'm here.
Yeah, you had hit the road with your artist, Soraya, the artist, right?
Yes.
Did her thing this weekend. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, man, Soraya is incredible. She went to North Carolina, Black Back on the Block in Raleigh, North Carolina. Shout out to Gabby and her mother, Sandra. They doing a wonderful job down there, giving back to the Black community, trying to get everybody back to support each other. And, they doing a great thing down there in Raleigh, North Carolina. So next time they have the next one, hopefully it's the first one they had down there in Raleigh. So hopefully it'll be bigger and better next year. More talent, more people come out, vendors, everything. So, Soraya killed it,
That's what's up. That's all that counts. Shout out to Soraya, the artist. Look forward to having you on the show and breaking some definite music with you, young lady. So, cousin, I know you have been around for the last week. So New York has been talking about, they've been having Mom Dami fever, Mom Dami meltdowns, Mom Dami is now the mayor-elect of New York City. Congratulations to Mr. Mamdani, 34-year-old Democratic socialist, will be heading up New York City January 1st. But, cousin, first, on January 1st, the police, the NYPD, has decided that they are going to meet him where he is at, and 5,000 NYPD officers will be resigning on January 1st, effective 2026. Okay. And so 5,000 officers down. So basically, New York is going to be policeless for a while. Now, Mamdani has talked about replacing social workers in place of some of these police officers, because the police officers may not have the social skills to work with domestic violence stuff. And so he wants to put social workers in place of the police. What's your thoughts on that, cousin?
Well, it's a G-Check. We got phones, we got social media, we got YouTube, we got everything. The police don't want to conversate. They don't want to help. Their job is to help the community. Years and years, going. It just seemed like the police officers is there to kill us. They're not there to help us. So, he might have a point where we might need social workers to find out what's going on, because there's a lot of mental illness people out here in this world that
maybe if the social worker is accompanying the police officer to, once the police officer says, this is a safe condition, there's nothing to worry about, but I don't want them bringing a pen to a gunfight.
Well, okay? Listen. Well, they've been bringing a gun to every fight. True. Let's look at it that way. That's a G-Check.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why on our behalf, we always don't get the communication on their behalf?
What do you mean the communication?
Well, when there's a white man involved, they get the communication. They get the talk, the hamburger, and all that. With us, we get the gunplay. There's no talking.
Right. Then this is what I call the urban dilemma. The common, distasteful, physical, emotional, or mental trauma. People are going through a trauma. When they see us, when they see Black folks, they start stereotyping us, and then they react. And I think that is actually a disease that's happening, and that, I think that the police officers need to be trained as social workers, and not a social worker. I'm a social worker. I'm not answering the 911 call, right? There's people out in the street. You got homeless services, you got BRC, you got the doe fund, you got everything. But that's what's happening right now. So 5,000 police officers are resigning effective January 1st, including the I guess it's the union representative or somebody. But okay, so let's talk about the
Hold up,
government shutdown.
one more thing. This is a G
Mhm.
check. So the ones that's resigning is those the members of the Ku Klux Klan undercover?
Probably
That's a
because
G
they don't
check.
want to work for a Muslim
That's a
socialist.
G check.
That's
That's
a
a
G
G
check.
check. You ain't gotta
Yeah,
say no more. That's a G check.
it's a they don't want to work for a Muslim socialist.
Yeah.
Let me share us. If you're watching us on uh YouTube or Facebook, tap in with us, ask us some questions. We are here. I'm about to share on my page, but we also need to talk about the government shutdown. Okay. So right now, the government is still shut down, but the 8 Senate Democrats crossed the line. So now, for the last 40 days, what's been happening is that the government has been shut down because the Democrats, who have no power in the House or Senate, they're outnumbered. They felt as though that this was their only chance to get leverage. That was their talking point word, to get leverage over the Trump administration and everything that they were doing. So they held up the election. They held up the government for the last 40 days to the point where it passed the 30 days, and people actually didn't get their food stamps. The TSA people that work at the airports, the air traffic controllers, they all went without pay for the last 40 days because the people in the government that we elected to fight for us and to be able to push these conversations decided that they weren't going to go to work. They're going to get paid. They took a 40-day vacation and then blamed it on each other. So I think they were just tired and they just didn't want to go to work and do stuff, but they blamed it on each other. I believe that the Democrats, because they didn't have a power, what they're looking for is the tax credits for the Affordable Care Act. And the Republicans are saying, hey, look, we don't care about the Affordable Care Act because it's named the Affordable Care Act now under Biden, but they knew that this was going to balloon. So if you have insurance, the mandatory insurance in the country, you have what Obama was called Obamacare, right? And so now they call it the Affordable Care Act, took the Obama off of it, but they knew that these premiums were going to double. They knew that this was going to happen. And that's why the Republicans didn't want to deal with it the first time, right? But they pushed it. They told everybody, they warned everybody that this was happening. Okay. They warned everybody against that. And then now they're going to balloon in December 31st. After December 31st, everybody is going to, after December 31st, everybody is going to get um a new premium, and probably paying um they're probably paying about
Let me give you a G
uh
check, cuz. Tell them to stop calling you. You're on live right
duh,
there.
if I can,
Yeah, it's a G check, cuz.
how am I going to tell
They
them to stop calling when I'm talking?
a G check
So
is,
anyway,
1 or 2 o'clock, then they
I did
start
it.
calling you.
I did it. Don't worry.
Put on the airplane mode.
Um, right. I didn't get a chance to do that yet. So the Affordable Care Act is now going to explode, and people that paid maybe $500 are now going to pay $2,000 a month for their health care, and they can't afford it. And so what the Democrats are trying to do, they tried to throw that back to to the Republicans and saying, "Oh, the Republicans want the health care," but it was them from the beginning. So I don't know where we're going with this. Or should the Republicans care that the Democrats set the people up like this? What do you think? Cuz that was Obama.
Well, let
That
me
was
G check.
Obamacare.
Let me G check this way. You could G check your phone, right?
Yes, please.
But at the end of the day, like I always say, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Uh-huh.
The Congress, the senators, I really think it should be a bill for these people because they've been getting away with this game for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep saying, oh, we need to vote to get these people in office, but they in office already.
Mm-hmm.
So what is we voting to get new people in the office for what? You know what I mean? Because you got the grandfather clocks, they still got their hats on and ain't nothing changed. You got to remember, it don't matter Democrat, Republican. They no different than the other.
Right.
They
Yeah.
both, at the end of the day, this is a G check.
Mm-hmm.
They both human beings,
Mm-hmm.
both scam artists.
Mm-hmm.
That's a G check.
Right.
So we keep fronting like, oh man, we gonna get this red in, we gonna get this blue in, it's gonna be better.
You're right.
Nah, it's not gonna get better. It just showed you we in a place that we call American dream. Right now, this is a G check. We need to call this American nightmare.
Why do you call it a nightmare?
Look at it. Look at it. We go to Canada, healthcare is free. We go to Colombia, healthcare is free. We in America where they say this is America dream. It's American nightmare because American dream is the way they turn it. American dream is it's American dollar right now. Greed. That's what this American is about. It's not about our people
Right.
sticking together,
Right.
helping one another. It's about who got more. And I say this, and I'm the first man to say this. How can you suck the blood out of a skeleton? And that's what America is. They trying to be the first to suck some blood out of a skeleton. So,
100%.
so at the end of the day, peeps, we could say we could vote whoever we want. And the ones that's not voting, they sit there saying, if I would have voted for this is what's happening. It's nothing changed. Nothing changed no matter who we get in the House, who we get in the White House, who we get in the Senator, who we get in the Congress, the mayor. It don't matter. These people is human beings. Greed. That's all they know. Is they
So do
really
you think that
no,
they should get paid for, do you think that the Congress who didn't work for 40 days and the other people that the air traffic controllers and everybody else who didn't get paid, do you think that Congress should get paid because they got paid during this time that they were not fighting each other?
see, once again, this is just like the justice system. The air controller, the people at the airport, those the black people. The ones in the White House got paid. That's it's saying right there. Justice. There's no justice. Either way we look at it, we still gonna get the short end of the stick. till we
Well,
open our eyes, people.
I'm optimistic about whether we can get the short end of the stick. But we're going to take a break and we're going to come right back and we're going to talk more about the government shutdown, more about what's been happening this week. You know, we're all over the place. What to say? Not an American dream. It's an American
You already know. Nightmare.
nightmare. So we're going to talk about nightmares of the night. Nightmares,
Don't quit your
nightmares.
day job.
Feeling right. Shout out to Dana Dane for nightmares. And we'll be right back with your new American perspective. And we are back with your new American perspective. This is your host, Jineea Butler, and I'm here with my co-host,
A.B. Butler. You already know. Back in the
you
game
know,
of entertainment.
and we're talking about the government shutdown and everything in between. Okay, so the government shutdown, the federal government is the largest. This is the largest shutdown in U.S. history. So that's the other thing that we've got to put on. Are people trying to get history marks and go down in history? Now, Hakeem Jeffries, who is the leader of the House of Congress, and Chuck Schumer, is the leader of the House in the Senate, and they're both from New York. So they are kind of controlling what's going on. So we got this little New York attitude going on. We not going to shut down. But 8 Senate Democrats said, listen, this is not working. Where the American people are hurting. You're stopping them during the Thanksgiving season. What are you doing? We've got to come up with something next. So they only needed 8 Democrats out of the 50, I think 3 about out of the 100 out of the 50 something Democrats that are that are there in the Senate, and they only needed 8. So the 8 crossed the line and they changed the game. All white folks. I want to put that out. Was no black people that crossed the line or said that because they're trying to hold the line to get what they want. Now what it needs to happen is it goes back to the House, which is leader Hakeem Jeffries, which I really think right now Hakeem is feeling himself power-wise, and I'm not feeling the way that he's going with this because he's talking and, his eyes and he's blinking and, he's got his little shindig down. But, he's trying to fight these Republicans and say that he's fighting for the people. But I think that it's a little ego in here at this point. So I'm a little nervous. And so this is the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Okay. They've never let, food stamps lapse or anything like that. And so everybody got their food stamps. Air traffic controllers are going back to work. But now look, the planes, have you seen what's going on at the airports? The planes are still delayed. It was like 7,000 planes delayed. And this is because they couldn't get along and they couldn't sit down. No, I don't want to hear that. If you're getting paid over $175,000, then you figure it out and you guys sit down, and we should not be touched. The American people should not be going through this because y'all don't want to talk.
It's a G chat.
That's a G chat.
They're getting all this money right now for, So right now, in a couple more months, they scheming how to do it. They're going to put the robots in there.
No, well, they're not going to put the robots in Congress, but
yeah, they need to. Maybe the robots would be a better.
They would do a better job.
I think they'll do a better job, but you got to remember, everything is run by a man or a woman. So, you got when things is one person got the power. Look, great example, Donald Trump.
Right.
He's in power. So you get one man that can control all these robots, and he got the evil mind. It don't matter. It don't matter.
And you can tell him to do some wicked stuff. You're right about that. That iRobot is now coming to life.
Yeah.
That is a G-check.
G-check, just watch a lot of movies. Don't get caught up on who's the actors. Read between the lines.
Right. So all of these people, some of them had furloughs, which means that they didn't get paid, then they're not going to get paid. Some of them missed paycheck, and some of them had all this caused disruption in the services. And now they're still trying to figure out whether or not, they didn't get to the bottom of it. So we sat here and they still didn't come up with the reason why. And Hakeem Jeffries is calling it the Republican shutdown, and the Republicans are calling it the Democrat shutdown. Now, personally, I believe that the Democrats held the line. They're the ones who don't have the power to do anything. They needed, the whole time the Republicans were on the table, and they were like, listen, come to the table, we'll pass this clean bill, and then talk about what you want to talk about after this.
What's so clean about the G check? What's so clean?
Well, because it's already passed. So what happened was, so remember the big beautiful bill, right, that they were talking about, right? This is where this all stems from. So the big beautiful bill that they
the big beautiful bill.
Yeah, whatever. And to the right of it, you got Hakeem Jeffries talking about it's the big ugly bill, right? You know, so you got these two sides. So what happened was the House, the Democrats do not have power. Okay, they can't vote anything in, they can't do anything. They're at the whim of the Republicans, right? So what happened was, when they passed this bill, so they passed the bill in the House, then the bill goes to the Senate. Now the Senate did what they call a filibuster. And the Senate did what they call a filibuster, and that filibuster says we're not going to vote, we're not showing up. So the Senate Democrats decided to say, listen, we're not doing anything until you do this, right? But it didn't have anything to do what they were holding them up for. So they were trying to bring something in and say, well, we're going to use this filibuster to stop you because we don't have the power, and we'll sit this out. So they sat it out for 40 days, and still for nothing but getting the attention of the American people. But let me tell you what they did do. On Tuesday, November 5th, which was the last election in the United States, on that day, the Democrats swept a lot of seats across it. Now, they didn't sweep the congressional seats that they're looking for, because the Democrats need to get back in power for 2026. And so November 26th is the midterms. And so that's 2 years when Trump has done his first 2 years, and it's the midterm election, and they are trying to flip the House again. So they held this out so they can get the American people's attention, because, in our community, the only thing you could do is stop our money to pay attention to politics. So that's what they did, and the Democrats did that. The Republicans didn't do it. The Republicans didn't play along with them like, many people wanted them to, but the Democrats basically did that. Okay. So everybody really suffered. And so now let me just tell you about the air traffic controllers, because I fly a lot, and I was on planes, and I was in the airport, and it was horrifying, and it's scary too to think that the air traffic controller didn't get paid for the last 30 days, and I'm flying the plane.
G-check, if I was him, I'd be sitting there eating, some, oh man, I'd be eating something tasty.
Well, that's what they were doing, essentially. And so now all the planes are backed up. So amid the shutdown, the Federal Administration, the FAA, and the transport leadership say flight cancellations and reductions happen because of staffing shortfalls among all traffic controllers. The Sean Duffy, who's the transportation secretary, has publicly flagged that controllers who called in sick, because there was a lot of people who called in sick too, or didn't show up, might face some consequences. Okay, so travel and logistics issues, more than 7,000 flights were canceled in the recent days due to the staffing issue. And this is a good bridge to talk about responsibility. Whose responsibility is it when America moves around, and now you decided we're not going to vote until they come up with something for the American Care Act, right? The Affordable Care Act that we put in place, that is going to balloon on the people. So now they want the Republicans to fix their issues. So I don't know about that.
This is a G check. Why? Why? Congress, senators, the president, whatever. They've been in this position for so long. Why we can't get it right? You know what I mean? We still is on some hate. We still on some hate. We keep playing and we keep and I don't feed into the Democrats, the Republicans. I look at them, they both the same. Because at the end of the day, I could go on a golf and run into every last one of them you name, playing golf with one another, playing with judges, people's lives. If I hit this, I give them a break. You get where I'm coming from? So it's like we read the news. We keep selling dreams to America.
Right.
But we got to be the dream wake up and stop falling into this trap and figure out people. We got to figure a way where we can't keep letting these people take from us and controlling our lives. We really got to find a way to change that because there's too much of evil in high seats. That's a G check.
That's a pure G check. And you know, that's a big issue when you are, you know, thinking in the manner that you're thinking, because there's people like, okay, so Imam Dami, you know, he ran because he won because he had good money, and they played on the fact that people were going through their exchanges, and he won on that. He won on the fact that people don't want people want healthcare. But let's talk about that too, cousin, because now remember your law. What was your law? What was the law called? What do we call it? About elected officials that
If they don't do right, lock them up.
lock
Lock
them
them
up. I
up.
forget what we called it, but we'll
Call it a
think
G check. We call it a G check lockup.
that's not what we called it, but I'll go
Listen,
back
don't
and look at
matter.
it.
Yeah.
But while the government is shut down, where does that leave everyday Americans? And so did they consider that? They considered that. They know that we'll be watching them. And, you know, like I said, Hakeem Jeffries, they're now trying to figure out who is going to be the Democratic candidate for president 2028. Because if Trump doesn't find out a way to run for a third term, then it's going to be open to anybody, right? So you have former Vice President Kamala Harris. She's up for the running. She's talking. You got Hakeem Jeffries. He's talking, but Hakeem, they're going to vote him out, I believe, after all of this goes through. Then you've got Wes Moore, Governor Wes Moore out of Maryland. You know, he looks good. You know, he's talking good. So, you know, there's a lot of candidates, black and white. You've got
why we don't
the
G check?
governor
Why
of
we don't get Flavor Flav to be the president? How about that? We got all these other.
I love
We
Flav,
yeah,
and he would
exactly.
give love out, and he would put together a good team. But I guess this is where we're going with it. Remember, The Rock wanted to run for president too.
You know,
You got The
why
Rock.
can't we run for president?
We
You know what I
can, we
mean?
can. But we
We
need the money. So
yeah.
that's the big thing, is the
Well,
money.
listen,
So we
people,
have
this
to
is
be able
G
to
check.
wield $1
Vote
billion.
me in for president, and I'll make sure everything what I say is facts.
Well, it'll be $1 billion. We got to be able to raise $1 billion just to run. If we raise $1 billion, we could win. And but we've got to figure out who's going to give us that money, continuous to give us that money, because our community, the Black community, is not heavy on giving political donations because we don't understand why we're giving them, right? And so we have to get definitely in tune more, because what the hell is going on, right? So the other piece is that Mom Dami, he lied. Okay, we're going to go to a break in a second, but we're going to talk about all the lies and where AB Butler is now going to recommend them for lockup after the lie. So we'll go to a commercial and we'll be right back with your New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24. Join me, Jineea, Butler, for the New American Perspective every Wednesday at 12 noon for an in-depth look of education, politics, economics, and entertainment from Republican and conservative views. The first of its kind on the Millennium News 24 and the Millennium TV 24 network. We will conceptualize and debate the rights and wrongs of the society, and together we will build the New American Perspective and share it with the rest of the world. You can tune in on all iOS and Android platforms, branded smart TVs, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. If you're around the world, Horizon Satellite. If you're in Europe or Australia, the Sky Network. Tune in to MillenniumNews24.com or MillenniumTV24.com. All social media, Millennium News 24. We're live and have the podcast at the same time. I am a citizen, and this is our perspective. And we are back with your New American Perspective. I'm your host, Jineea Butler. I'm here with my co-host, Mr.
AB Butler, back in the game entertainment.
You understand? We back in the game. We here. We G checking, and we're checking the government's G right now. So now here's what I gotta tell you. I gotta break the news to you, cousin. So Mr. Mamdani, Zoran Mamdani, Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani, Mayor Adams is still the he's flicking people off and stuff. Mayor Adams is still the mayor of New York City for another 2 months through the holiday season, so I'm sure he'll have a festive time, because he said he got a new job and he don't got to worry about nothing. If he want to go to Kathmandu, he can go, and don't worry about all the press asking him where he going, who, what, when, where, why. Well, he wanted that position all his life. He got it, and now he is free. Congratulations to you, Mayor Adams, because I know that this is a breath of fresh air, even though that we love what we do. So now Mamdani was met by Governor Hochul in his lies. So he told everybody about free buses. So she knocked that down. She said, okay, there's going to be no free buses. But she did this after the election, so she thinks she's slick too. So there's going to be no free buses. Okay, she said it clearly. There's also going to be no rent freezes, because the rent board meets now in December, and he can't necessarily freeze the rent. And so now Governor Hochul also said that she is not taxing the rich. So all that tax the rich, all of that is out of the window. So now, and he said today, well, I'm going to be reaching out to President Trump, because President Trump said, I don't think that I should call him. I think that he should call me, because he was the one talking all that smack. So he says that he's going to be reaching out to President Trump, because it's very critical for the cities to intervene to work with the White House. So what do you think about that, cousin? He's backtracking already before he gets in office, 2 months, a week later, week from getting elected. Everything that he ran on that people wanted, he cannot do. What do you say?
The G check. I just tell you, demon versus demons. That's a G check right there. It just tell you, it's like once again, it's like it don't matter who we get in office. Everybody gonna play that game till they get in there. It's a joke. You know, I'm saying the governor race, the mayor race, the president race, it's a game. They do all that for TV time, press time, do all of that for being in a. You listen, you might as well put them like the Knicks versus the Lakers. That's what this is right now. You know what I mean? It's just sad that we pay so many taxes, so many bills to sit around and get G checked by clowns.
But here's the thing, we're listening to it. And the big problem with our community is that we're not engaged. So right now, if nobody is telling you, if the Democratic press is not telling you what to do, guess what? Most Black people don't do anything. If you hear out of a Republican's mouth, the Democrats have you thinking, oh, don't listen to them. Don't listen to Fox News. Don't listen to this. Don't listen to that. Just listen to us and only us. Like, Hakeem is sitting up there, talking about, this Republican, and watch him when you see him the next time. This Republican shutdown needs to stop. And he's blinking his eyes and, trying.
But let me blink my eyes. This is a G check. Shout out to all the kids that's still in school. Get ready to go from high school to college, from elementary, whatever. Don't be a yes man. Don't be a follower, because you see what's going on. With grown folks, y'all got to make your own decisions. Make sure the decisions is right, because at the end of the day, this world we living in right now is nothing but a game. It's a major G check game. This world is a game right now.
Yep, and that is a super duper G check. And let me just talk to the folks that are tuning in right now. If you want your brand in front of viewers who care about culture and community, advertise with us. You see our little segments and everything like that, and we've got time to add you in. And this is about really open it up to the next level, and and talking about who we are and what we're talking about. Let's stay fly and let's stay focused here, people. So again, Mom Dami, he lied to the people. So he's coming in January 1st. And I think that, by the time he gets there, they said that he's picking good folks. Then he's looking for the New York City schools chancellor to be one of the former Congress people that worked in Congress, Jamal Bowman, right? So I used to work for, and I think I talked about this before, Jamal Bowman. I used to work for Jamal Bowman, not work for him, but I had a program in his school in the Bronx, his middle school in the Bronx. Shout out to Rich Henry and Chase Henry and everybody over there. But I worked with them in the Bronx. And so come to find out, he was running this school without a principal's license. Okay. So he was illegally running the school. He got ousted out of Congress because he went and pulled the fire alarm. Now check this out, cousin. He went and pulled the fire alarm in Congress. He's a former principal that goes and pulls the fire alarm. That's the part that I can't even think. He was trying to delay a vote in Congress. He was late. Okay. So he ran into the building and he's trying to delay the vote. So he's not late. He pulls the firearm. So everybody has to get up and leave. And he didn't miss the vote. But then he said he didn't pull the fire alarm. And guess how they caught him?
Of course. Big brother. Big brother's everywhere. Cameras everywhere.
So what was he talking about?
Somebody watching you. They watching us right now.
Exactly. So I don't understand what he was thinking, what he was talking about. talking about he didn't pull the fire alarm. Now, see, that's the part
Listen,
I can understand you saying, listen, I took a drastic measure and I pulled the fire alarm. But when you say that you didn't pull the firearm and we see your hands on the fire alarm going like this, and you the only one standing by the thing, and the fire alarm goes off after you move,
it's a G check. He might
it's
have
a
a twin
cheat.
brother.
I think that's what he was. I think that's definitely what he was going with. And
Yeah,
so,
well,
shout out to all of them. Thank God for the 8 Democrats that decided to cross the line and get us to the next point. So that is going to go on until January 30th. So the government will be funded until January 30th. And guess what? They've got to come up with another deal for 2026 by January 30th. So now, from the time now till January 30th, they've got to come up with something. And I don't think that we should accept any less. I think that if they decide to shut down the government again, the first people that don't get paid are them. That's how I feel about it. Like, I think that this is just disgusting. And if I was on the Congress floor at this time, I would be telling them, this is disgusting, this game that you're playing. But we know that this is why this is a G check. So, cousin, let's get into some hip hop news for our hip hop folks too. So, if you haven't been in New York City, or if you've been under a rock somewhere, you would know that the rapper of Bird Gang,
Max
Dipset,
B.
Max B, is back in town. So now he just did a 16-year bid, which he
Mm-hmm.
got knocked down from 75 years. And this is what I want to talk about. He got knocked down from 75 years. Then he appealed it, and then they gave him back all the other time. So he had 20. He just did 16, and now he is home. And everybody in New York is up, and they're saying that the guy who just got out of prison is that guy. Now, cousin, I know that you did a little bit of time yourself, and so I
No, I
want
ain't doing
you.
no G check. I ain't doing a little bit of time. I did decades with an S
Yes,
behind
you
it.
did. Well, I was letting
Okay,
you
so
say
yeah,
that. You the one
let's
that
let's
say
make
that.
that clear. Yeah, not a little bit of time.
Okay,
I wish
so
I
you
was,
did.
but mhm.
You were in the feds, correct? No, you weren't in the feds. You were in the state.
Yes, I was in the feds.
Okay,
Yeah,
you were in the feds.
yeah,
Okay, so now, and was he in the? He was in the state. He was in the state though. He
yeah,
did a state bid, right?
yeah, yeah.
16-year state bid. Now,
hmm
okay, so now my question to you is,
hmm
should we be celebrating him like this when
Well,
somebody lost their life 16 years ago on behalf of, you know, a botched robbery that he had? Should we be celebrating him like this?
it's a G check. This is a new world order. You know what I mean? Everybody come a groupie, and for the time being, somebody come home, that got that name. It don't matter what they did. They become a male groupie. So, that's what he's gonna get anyway when he come home. Celebrations. We
I mean,
happy
I think
home.
that he should be celebrated because doing 16 years is something else, and making it out of there is something to celebrate. But they are celebrating him like he is going to save hip hop. French Montana met him at the door.
Yeah.
They met him at the door of the prison, and he had somebody said that, how did he get 26 hours in a day, with all the stuff they did. So they met up with him, they took him to a Jets game, got him iced out, had his
Mhm.
changed his whole life
Yeah.
in 10 minutes. And that's a good come home.
Yeah,
But now, can he live
but
up to what they're doing?
that's a good thing where that's how it used to be when brothers come home. People, real dudes, you supposed to get looked out like that, but it's no more of that. Right now, I'm going to say it's all a smoke and mirror right now because, it's smoke in the air. It's going to clear in a minute. Then it's like, you got to remember this hip hop, the way this new era move. It's like going to a funeral. D'Angelo passed away. Everybody showing him love on their page, playing his music. Guess what? You don't hear that no more, right? It died down. The smoke and mirror is gone.
Oh, that's a good
He
point.
buried him.
Damn.
So now it's like, okay, now New York needed something new. But I always got fire. Trees Da Vinci.
Mm-hmm.
That's fire. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? He coming at his, but once again, it's always the part of how you gonna play your role. I don't play nobody's role, so it's always gonna be hard for the real ones, and the real ones know what I'm talking about.
Right, right. So let's
But
go to a break, and we're going to come right back with some more, of this hip hop news that's been happening and going on around. So we're here on
Free
Millennium
Diddy.
24. He's going with his free Diddy, and we'll talk about Puff Daddy and what the allegations of what's happening with him down in Fort Dix. And we'll talk to you soon. 1 second. And we are back here with your new American perspective. I fell asleep for a half a second when we got back on. I was like, what are we doing? Where are we at? We are on the new American perspective, and this is your G check for this week. So we were just talking about Max B's return back into society. Shout out to him. Got a lot of love, and there was a
Shout out
lot
to
of
Max
people.
B.
They weren't giving him a
Shout out
lot
to
of
Black.
space. He proposed to his fiance, and I thought about her too. I thought about her in so many ways where, he proposed to his fiance that probably held him down for years. Maybe they got the pen pals now, right? They got pen pals that you can pick up a guy in jail, right?
I don't
And
know about no
fall
pen
in
pal.
love. Huh?
I don't know about no pen pal. It's just, you might catch one on them friends visiting room. Somebody plug you up. I don't know about no pen pal.
Well, they got something that they say that, here you could write to this person and become a friend. I don't know. I don't know where the girl
I
came
call that
from or
the
anything.
thirsty ones. That's the ones that was out here getting paper, support no friends, getting all the
Well,
money, don't want to support friends. Yeah, those are the ones that get them, pen pals. But if you real and respect people out here, you don't need that because people gonna show you love no matter where you at.
true facts, true
That's
facts.
a G check.
That's a G check. And so this young lady, I understand her feeling. Her man came home. She was holding his hand the whole time and everything. But the crazy part is some other broad had that chain on and it's already going crazy, and so he's, proposing to her like she's the main John, and then this next broad has his chain on. Whatever. Let's also talk about rest in peace to Big U's son out in LA. Big U, a rolling 60s crip that goes along with Nipsey Hussle, used to manage Nipsey Hussle. He went to jail earlier this year on charges of racketeering, murder, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And unfortunately, his son died last week, was shot on a sidewalk on, I believe it was 69th Street in Figueroa in Los Angeles. And he was shot in a rolling 60s area, and they shot and killed his son, Jabari Henley. His name was Baby Huey, and he looked just like his dad. I'm sure that his dad rebelled it. And Big U has another son that plays for the Chargers. So whoever has Big U under all of this pressure, they've got him in a pressure cooker. So now tell me, cousin, I'm sure that you've been locked up when other people, have passed away, people in the family. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about what that's like, when you're locked up and somebody passes away. What do people go through?
Yeah, well, listen, you go through a lot, because the big part of it, you can't be there, and depends what your case is. You could go see the funeral, go see the body, um, but the way his case looking, I don't see him going, because right now the thing is, the way it seemed like, the way they killed him, he couldn't go to a funeral because L.A. don't play.
Mm, mm,
They live for what they say they're gonna
mm,
do. They're gonna
mm,
do.
mm, mm.
So
That's a
it's
good
a
one.
sad situation to be in there. Something that you can't do, but it's just gonna keep going. It's just gonna keep going. I could just say, rest in peace to Big Hugh's son. But it's like the life we live. You know what comes with it. That's what we parents been teaching us.
Hmm. And then the other piece is that Big U Big U has asked for temporary release to deal with everything with his family, but I haven't got word of whether they're going to grant that or nothing. But or anything. But you're right. I don't think that they're going to grant it. I think that they are literally trying to clean up the LA streets for the Olympics that are coming there.
Oh
And
yeah,
so they've got him off of the streets now. You
but
fracturing his family.
you got to remember, this is a G check. You ever see New Jack City?
Sure.
It don't matter. You could get rid of one. It's like 30 more of them out there, big U's. So you can't get rid of everybody. You got the big U's in the black community. You got the U's in the Mexican. You got the ones in the whites. The Chinese. So it's nothing y'all could do. It's just going to keep going. It's just going to keep going.
Yeah. That
That's a
is
G chat.
Yeah, that's a G check. And that's the shame of it because, you want somebody to care, but this is the life that they live. And a lot of people said this may be somebody's pushback and retaliation, even for Nipsey. You have a couple people that died on his watch that people don't know,
Yeah.
was he a part of it? Did he make the call and everything like that? And I think about it, how I think about it? And this is the G check. I think about it like, does he sit there and be like, like you said, this is part of the game, even when it's your own child, right? So if you have taken people out, other people's children out, and then now it's yours, you know, how does that work, right? Because
Karma come back in a nice suit. You get where I'm coming from? So you just got to be ready for it. And it is what it is. That's a G check. Karma don't play. Karma is like a G check. We gonna come and G check it.
yes,
ASAP.
and let me say this: if anybody wants us to come out to their events and they want to be featured on the show, let us know. Tap in with us. Put it in the comment section. Shout out to China Brim for shaking up the world and everything. And then, lastly, I don't want to perpetuate the beef, the so-called beef between Max B and Jim Jones, but I wanted to just touch on it in the sense of, well, this is something that we don't need. These guys grew up together, or these guys came in but Jim Jones put Max B on. They had issues 16 years ago. These issues shouldn't be
Let,
going
let,
on,
let,
and
let me G
people
check
shouldn't
this
be
real quick, right?
perpetuating that.
Let me G check this, right? Max B just came home. It don't matter who beefing, cause it ain't always the artist. It's the people around him.
Hmm.
He don't want to go back to jail. He
Right.
don't. He
Mm.
really don't. So the best way to do, like broads do, talk, run their mouth. Because at the end of the day, you got a choice. And I don't understand for the brothers out here, and I say it say it over and over again. Why we get in it to get paper and come right back to the streets? We
Mm.
going backwards. We not going forward.
Mm.
Everybody that come in this world that get out of the streets and change their life to bring friends along, first of all, you gotta learn how to control your friends. If they with you, you the boss. If they behind you, this is the way we gonna move. A lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people don't respect it, but it is what it is. If you still want to be the clown or the gangster, the monster, and this and that, you know where to go. You ain't got to come around to be that. You got to remember. Sometimes you got to get out of that, grow out of it. You can't always be the monster because this is the problem I have. We always monsters towards us, but everybody else, we angels too. But when it come to us that look like us, brown and black, we could stay a monster. We could do all this to one another. But as soon as the people that giving us all this time, taking away our freedom, we cowards to them.
Well, they got us trained.
That's a G check. Nah, it
It's a
ain't. It ain't.
super
It
G
ain't. It ain't.
check.
It
They
ain't.
they got us
It
trained.
ain't. No, it ain't no such thing. They got us trained.
They do,
We got to
obviously.
stop. No, no, hold up. We got no. Let me handle this. This is G check. We got to stop using that excuse. They got us trained. They got us trained. You right. Because guess what? You just keep saying it. Oh, in your mind. Oh, the people got us trained. No, they don't have us trained. We just use it as an excuse that they have us trained. We just go at it. Oh, the people got, no, they don't have us trained. We wasn't on no ships. We wasn't no slaves.
No,
You tell me 1990, 1980, 1970, which one of y'all was on the slave ship? Y'all was never beat it. Nothing. Only part of slavery might be when they put us in that penitentiary. But rather than that, they don't have us programmed, nothing. We just got it in our mind. We use that as excuses. We got to stop using excuses that they got us trained. That's just an excuse. And that's a G check
and
to
that's
everybody out there. Keep using excuses. That's an excuse. We the only people that kill each other, hate each other, don't want to look out for each other, complain about each other, and love everybody else. That's a G check.
That's a super G check. And then we're gonna close out today on that because I think that was such a strong word and something that the community needs to hear because he's right. We don't go and tear up the government buildings. Well, January 6th they did. That was the white folks that they didn't care. But we don't go and we go in our own community. We don't go bust their stuff up and stuff like that. And not even saying that we should do it. But what I'm saying is that we don't even attempt. We
Hold on,
go
hold on.
ourselves.
Before we finish this, I thought we was going to talk about Free Diddy.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 more minutes. You can talk about Puff Daddy. So what happened was we we found out that Puffy might be
Exactly.
he might be drinking that hooch on the compound. And I don't know if you want to talk about that, the irony of you being in Fort Dix, and then you don't want to talk about it.
Oh yeah. This is the G check right here. You know what I mean? I'm really made history because of I'm the first convict that pushed a federal count back. No other inmate, no other convict, no other person could say they pushed a major count back in the federal system. I'm the first and the last and the only one. So I
Okay.
should be in the Guinness Book of World Record. I'm gonna break it down to y'all people.
We don't have that much
I
time.
I had Biggie, Craig Mack, Puff come to this prison, Fort Dix, to do a show for me, 1995. And the credible thing is, Puff is in the same prison that he did the show for me,
Wow.
the same jail.
That is irony. And we're gonna have a whole big thing on that about what AB Butler did. And we'll come back next week with more. But here's my question to you. Do you think Puffy was in there drinking the hooch?
No, I don't think so.
Ah, you what? He was in there drinking the hooch. He needs something to
What
take
he had,
advantage of.
Ciroc? What he
And
had, Ciroc? What he had,
I think
Ciroc?
when I
Who,
worked
who,
there,
Ciroc?
yeah, Ciroc. They said, "Look, here go your new Ciroc." He had a little hooch. Here go your new Ciroc. Try this. But I know that I think I even when I was on the island that they even I think maybe let me smell it. I'm not gonna say I took none, but they offer it to everybody. But we're gonna be back next week. Thank you for joining us today on the New American Perspective. Our numbers are going up crazy, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your support. And we're chiming now to Millennium News 24, your news that you could use.
This is a
See you
G
next
check.
week.
If you want to sponsor us, put your ad up here. Just reach out to us. We'll put it up there. Give y'all a look. Holla at y'all. G check.
That's our show for today, ladies and gentlemen.